If you're a first-time home buyer and you don't know where to start, this is the right video for you. I'm gonna walk you through everything from start to finish. I'm gonna cover as much as I can, so at the end of this video, you feel empowered and confident to be able to buy your first home, regardless of the market that we're in, regardless of where interest rates are. You know you're gonna make the right decision. And if you like my channel, make sure to subscribe. We drop content every single week to help you get your mortgage right and understand what goes on in the mortgage world. And by the way, got a giraffe here hanging out with me today. My daughter sent that to me for my birthday, so we're gonna include him into the video here today. But back to my point, if you guys have questions, make sure to comment below. Make sure to reach out to me via email. I'd be more than happy to hop on a call and walk through a specific game plan or your questions to help you out. Now, I wanted to do this video because I get so many questions about first-time home buyers and they don't even know where to start. So I figured I'd shoot a quick video. This way you can at least understand kind of the basic nuances of what goes on, what you should be paying attention to, and you can start putting together your own game plan for yourself. Now, first and foremost, what I would recommend you doing is to create a budget. Before you even start talking to a lender or a real estate agent, you need to understand your finances. And this comes down to knowing your credit, what is being reported on your credit, what does your score look like, how much debt do you have, what are your credit card payments looking like, how much money do you have saved, and what are you comfortable paying every single month for your mortgage payment. If you don't know the answers to any of these questions, you are flying blind, my friend. You need to figure out these tough questions first before you start figuring out how much house you can afford. I made the mistake years ago when I bought my first house and just went into the process and bought a place. Luckily, I had a few roommates that were living with me that offset basically my mortgage payment, and I was able to make more money over time doing loans, and then the mortgage payment wasn't a big deal. But I had no budget back in the day. I wish I could go back and get everything dialed in so that way I knew exactly what I was getting myself into, because there's a lot of unexpected costs that come around when buying a house. And a lot of times when you buy a house, you put these things off for later. For example, you might move into your home and maybe you want to add a water filtration system. That costs a few $1,000s depending on the type of system you get, depending how good it is. And usually what happens for a lot of our clients, they end up going to Lowe's, Home Depot, and they're getting those 0% credit cards, which let me tell you, you have all the right intentions to pay it off, but most of you never pay off that credit card. And then what do? You end up refinancing your mortgage a couple years down the road because you don't want to keep making those 18, 19, 20% interest credit card payments every single month. So again, it's getting a right plan together so you don't make these mistakes that you just eventually erode away your equity of your home because you continuously refinance using your house as a piggy bank. Now, let's just say you do have a budget. Good for you. I commend you for doing that. The first thing you want to do is get pre-approved. This is still such a debatable thing because I have clients that still talk to real estate agents first, go shopping for homes first, and then they come to us trying to get pre-approved. You need to make sure you get pre-approved first. Unless you're paying cash for the house and you've got a bank statement that can show that you have a few $100,000 in there, you're financing your house and the lender has to get you qualified. The markets are picking up again. We're starting to see clients go into multiple offer situations. There's clients that are offering against homes that have 20, 30. I've even had one that had 60 offers on one house in Florida. So to say that the market is bad or that we're in this recession or that people can't afford homes, in my opinion, it's total BS. Now, I know that's not everywhere across the country, and I know some markets are hurting more than others, but I'm licensed in 20 states, and in those 20 states, the market's hot. Our clients are against competition every single day. So we are trying to get them into the right position so that way they can get into a home as quickly as possible. Because if not, you're running yourself ragged in these bidding wars. And then you, as a buyer, get frustrated and then you're gonna give up. And I can tell you this, all the people that gave up during 2021 and 22 when interest rates were in the 2s and 3s, I would almost bet that they wish they would have never given up, because now they're probably got a house that's 5, 6, 7% interest, and they probably could have got the house for $50,000, maybe even $100,000 cheaper than what they paid for it today. So you got to stick it out. Now, once you get pre-approved, you want to make sure you have all your documents ready. Now, I'm going to give you just a basic general list. This is something you should have handy for your lender, because the quicker you can give me your paperwork, the quicker I can finish your pre-approval and then send you out shopping for your house. So First things first, you want to have a copy of your driver's license or passport. We want to have 2 years of your tax returns and W-2 or 1099 forms. 2 years of your federal statements, your 1040s. We don't need the state version, just your federal version. 2 months of your bank statements. That's the bare minimum that any lender is going to ask you for paperwork up front. So have that handy, because once your lender pulls your credit, they're going to ask you for those documents. But if we can get everything done on the same day, most lenders today can probably turn a pre-approval around in 24 hours. That means you're shopping for your house today. Now, how cool is that? Here's a red flag. If you're working with a lender right now and you're trying to get pre-approved and they can't give you a pre-approval letter within 24 to 48 hours, there's something wrong with your file. Now, either the loan officer isn't familiar with the guidelines and they're having to double check, triple check something before they call you back, or there actually may be something wrong with your loan that maybe an underwriter needs to review it up front just to reassure you and the loan officer of the viability of your loan. So make sure first and foremost that you have good communication with your loan officer. If they need an extra 24 hours, ask them why. Are they too busy, or do they actually have to dig into the file a little more because there's something quirky about your situation? And if that's the case, that's totally fine, because you want them to do this extra work up front. You don't want them cutting corners, because if you go out shopping for a house and let's say there is a problem with your loan, but yet you were impatient and you didn't want to wait another 24 hours for your letter, your deal could fall apart. When you have thousands of dollars up for earnest money that you could potentially lose, let me tell you, I would want all the reassurance in the world to know that my money is protected. So make sure that your loan officer is communicating with you up front. If they're not doing that, that's a red flag in my opinion, and you might want to find another lender to work with, because communication is key throughout this entire process. Now, how do you find a lender? Now, so many of you are probably shopping around for lenders purely based off of interest rate. And sometimes that works for people, but I think that that's a slippery slope to climb on. Simply because a lot of banks that are offering really, really low interest rates do not have necessarily good loan officers that work there. And what I mean by that is you can go to the Scotsman Guide. That is an industry publication that puts out and ranks loan officers across the country. And most of those companies do not have loan officers that are ranked high enough. That means they don't do a ton of business, which doesn't necessarily mean they know what they're doing. And some of these places, the way they have their structure set up, these loan officers might get paid maybe $100 to close your loan. Now, in my opinion, that's scary. This is the biggest amount of money you've probably ever spent in your life. And you want someone who's making $100 in charge of making sure your file gets done properly and you close on time? That's a little scary to me. I wouldn't necessarily go and find the cheapest doctor if I needed a surgery or if I needed a procedure done. I want the guy who's been doing it the longest and who has the best reputation. And for whatever reason, the logic when it comes to finding a loan officer goes completely out the window. People don't care about value. People don't care about who's got the best reputation, who can close on time, and the reviews that are online. So many of you just shop purely based on interest rate. It blows my mind. I really don't understand that concept. But hey, sometimes the interest rate is all that matters to you and you could care less about the communication and the closing and the customer service. And I know there's a handful of you out there that love that, but there's still a vast majority of people that value communication, that value service, and to know that the loan officer that you're working with has your best interest in mind. Because we are only paid on commission. We don't earn a salary. We don't earn any money unless the loan that we close with you actually closes. So that's why as a loan officer, we put our pride, we put everything into our clients, because we want to make sure that we get paid, but not only that, that we're doing the right thing for you, because our business is based off of referrals. So when you're looking for a loan officer, I would ask any of your friends or family or coworkers that have dealt with someone who's amazing. I would start with that person first. Or you can go to the Scotsman Guide, like I mentioned, see who's the top loan officer in the state. And let me tell you, there's a reason why they're the top loan officer in the state. They're doing something right. They're running a true business. A lot of people in the real estate and mortgage world don't run businesses. They literally show up to work whenever they feel like it. They do a deal or two a month and then they go on vacations. That's not somebody that I would necessarily recommend who's going to handle my finances. I want to make sure that the person I'm dealing with is a true professional, does this for a living, and buys and sells real estate and understands what I'm going to go through. If not, again, I ask the question, if you're getting a surgery or if you had a procedure or a medical emergency, are you looking for the discount doctor out there? Are you looking for who's the cheapest hospital that I can go deal with? No, you want the best because you want to live. Same thing with your house. You're going to live in this house potentially for the next 5 years, 10 years, maybe even 30 years. So why make a wrong and bad decision up front to save a few bucks that could literally cost you thousands of dollars in the long run. So make sure you do some due diligence. Everyone these days have got social media, whether it's a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook. Look them up. Do they have reviews? Those reviews will tell you what your experience is going to be like with that loan officer. And guess what? If they got new reviews, then there you go. Their customers don't want to talk about them. That should automatically give you an idea of what the transaction could potentially look like. So do your homework. Now that you found a lender, you have a good relationship, things are going well, you're starting to shop for your house. But how do you find a good realtor? Let me tell you this. Every good loan officer works with good real estate agents as well. As someone who runs a high producing team, I work with some of the best people across the country. And the reason why I know that is because they do multiple transactions. These are some of the men and women that lead the industry, lead their cities with the amount of deals they're doing and the amount of knowledge that they have. And to me, knowledge is power, especially in the real estate market, because things move so quickly. You'd be surprised how many real estate agents do not understand everything a lender does. And you'd be surprised how many times I've had to cover for real estate agents because they don't know the answer to the client's question. So you want to make sure you're working with somebody, again, who's got experience, someone who knows what they're doing, who understands the economics of the market, that can explain to you what's the best way to structure an offer. Because so many times agents will say that, oh, we're going to negotiate this deal, and they usually don't. All they're doing is conceding to whatever the seller wants to get your offer accepted. And in my book, that's not negotiating. Negotiating is when someone is fighting for me to get my best interest, and to where I would love to walk away from the table feeling that I won at the end of the day, not just conceding to whatever the seller wants. And when you think about the boom that happened during COVID when rates were in the 2s and 3s, there was no negotiating involved. I don't care what agents say, they weren't negotiating. They would literally go to the seller and say, we want to make an offer on the house. The seller would say, well, we've got 30 other offers. Give me your highest and best. And that's it. And that's what you would do. You would say, well, what else do you want me to do? Oh, we can close quicker. Hey, we'll waive our appraisal contingency. Hey, we'll waive our home inspection. Hey, we'll put more money down for our earnest money deposit. There's all these things that buyers were willing to waive to give the seller what they wanted. That's not negotiating. You are literally bending over for the seller at that point. So again, you want an agent that's going to work for you and fight for you and negotiate for you, because if they're not doing that, then what are they really doing for you? They're opening a door and they're going to make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 just by doing that. So get someone who's going to fight for you and who understands the market, because if not, that to me is just a total waste of representation. And remember this, the seller pays the buyer's agent's commission. So you don't have to come out of pocket for anything. The seller's going to cover it for you. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be working with someone that is going to fight for you. That is one of the biggest pet peeves of mine in this industry, is that when a buyer doesn't work with a realtor who has their best interest in mind. Now that you're shopping for your house, one of the things that your loan officer should be doing is staying in contact with you every single week. One of the things we do with my team is we call all of our clients that are shopping for houses that are qualified. We call them every single Thursday because we want to check in to make sure that your shopping experience is going well. Is the realtor being responsive to you? If they're not, maybe we need to find another real estate agent, or maybe we need to kick them in the ass to get them back in shape to answer your questions. Sometimes things like that happen. Or maybe you're getting frustrated because you can't get an offer accepted, but your real estate agent isn't doing certain things that we ask them to do up front, so that way we can get your offer done. There's so many moving parts when it comes to buying a house. Your lender, your real estate agent, and you have to be on the same page. We have to be a team. Stop treating your lender like they're the bad guy. The lender at the end of the day is the one that's giving you the money to buy a house. They should be your best friend. Don't look at your lender as an enemy. So many times the buyers look at the lender as the evil dentist. Nobody wants to deal with the dentist. Everyone hates going to the dentist. And I sometimes feel in a transaction, everyone hates the lender because you don't want to let us pull your credit. You don't want to provide us any documentation, but yet you want us to lend you $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 on a house. Go figure. Your lender should be your best friend because we can help you not only finance your house, but down the road, if you're looking to become an investor, help you refinance your house and find other creative strategies to leverage your portfolio to start buying more rental properties. That's some of the things that I love doing with my clients. I've done it myself to go from owning one house to now I've owned 5 other rental properties just in a few short years. You can do the exact same thing and I can lay that blueprint out for you. So having that relationship, in my opinion, is so important because it's more than just one house. There's so many other transactions that can come after the fact that we can help you structure that to help you build more passive income, help you build more wealth. And the number one goal that so many people get into real estate in the first place is to get financial freedom. So if we can give you the roadmap on how to get there, why would you not want to befriend your lender? Now, here's a couple of tips as you're shopping for your house that your real estate agent should be doing with your lender. If you like a property, make sure that your real estate agent is copying your loan officer on that offer to the listing agent. And the reason why you want to do that is you want your loan officer to call the listing agent to let them know that you have been approved and you've verified all of your income and asset documents and you have a solid file. And this is what I mean by having someone with good reputation, because these listing agents are going to look at the offers, and let's say there's 3 offers on the table. Let's say they're all identical. They're going to look at, do I know who loan officer A, B, or C is? If they know one of the loan officers and they have a great reputation, maybe they've actually done some business together, that offer has a better chance of getting accepted than the other 2. So you want to keep your loan officer in the loop so that way they can make these phone calls, they can reach out and vouch for you that you are a solid buyer and you should get this house. It's just little things like that that real estate agents still continue to not do up front, and so many loan officers out there don't even do that for their clients. And that's why you might shop for months on end and nothing gets accepted. So this is why when you are shopping for your loan officer, forget the interest rate. I know sometimes, yes, you want to get the best rate, but you know what? The guy or gal that's going to fight for you, that's got the good reputation, that can help your offer get accepted, that has to be worth something. Because if not, what good is the pre-approval letter with a 4 or 5% interest rate if you can never get your offer accepted? Something to think about. And as you're shopping for your home, you should also be shopping for your homeowner's insurance. One of the easiest ways to go about this is call the company that you have your car insurance with as well. Usually when you have multiple lines of coverages, they will start to give you more discounts. So if you're with Progressive, call Progressive. See if they provide insurance coverage for the type of home that you're buying. And I don't know if you've seen this lately, but there's been some pretty major news about homeowners insurance across the country. State Farm, for example, pulled out of the state of California. They will not provide any more coverage in that state. So again, this is why you want to start shopping as you are shopping for your house, just to get thrown over to some broker and you have no idea what type of coverage you have. So make sure that you're doing these types of early on due diligence activities to save yourself a headache down the road. Because what will happen is once you're in your property, your house gets assessed every single year. They will look at your escrow analysis, whoever your mortgage company that's servicing your loan. They're going to look at how much money you have for your taxes and your insurance in your escrow account. And if there's any shortages that are in there, they can then assess that amount to you. I've had clients that bought brand new homes, went with different lenders, call me after the fact complaining that their mortgage payment went up $500 a month. Well, I didn't do your loan, so I don't know why it went up. But I do know why it went up. It's because the lender shortchanged you on your property taxes. So now your home, when it got assessed after you bought it, your property taxes went up. But no one explained that to you. And this is why, again, you have to be aware of the entire transaction, things to look out for. And this is why I'm always going to say this. It's not always about the interest rate, because guess what? For all those clients that called me that didn't use us for financing, got better rates elsewhere, they ended up calling us for help down the road. So to me, it's knowledge and expertise, and the strategies that your loan officers can provide you is going to help you buy your properties and keep you ahead of any of the headaches that can come around once you're a homeowner, like an escrow analysis. Buying a house is no easy feat. It takes sometimes an army of people to help someone purchase their first home. However, with the right game plan and the right strategies, you can simplify this process very, very easily. In fact, my own videographer is buying her first house, and she went through a very simple process. So don't feel that home ownership is out of your reach. Sometimes I feel like you just haven't talked to the right person yet that can clearly explain your options and how you can become a homeowner. So if you're frustrated, you don't know where to start, maybe you're thinking about giving up, before you do that, let's hop on a quick call. I'd love to help you out, so that way, whether you're thinking about buying today or maybe it's a year out, we get you into the right plan so you can be successful and you can call yourself a homeowner.